Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be making my Arctic Flare bracelet, which is a reversible design. This is the back side and this is the front. I love both sides equally though, so it's definitely up to you which side you want to wear it on, or you can switch it up. So this is a 4-bar wide design, but it does come out really small. So if you just use one set, you're either going to need to add extensions on, or you can make a keychain. I'm going to do a full-length bracelet though in today's video. So for that, I'm going to use 189 bands. The breakdown includes 55 of the black border, 26 of the white, 24 of the orange, 24 of the baby blue, and 60 of the red. For the full length one, you do want to have 2 easy clips for closing. If you're using the extension version, then you just need 1 easy clip for closing. So for now, let's get our supplies ready and we can get started. So to get started, we're going to have 4 bars at least, and you want the 2 middle set up aligned, and the outer 2 are going to be staggered forward 1 position. I do have another 4 bars set up in front of it since I'm making a full-length bracelet. We're going to start by choosing the border. So I'm going to be using black. Now the starting bands are going to differ depending which version you're using. If you are doing the extension version, there's 1 closure for that. So you're going to take your first band and lay it across the 2 center pins for closing it at the end. But if you are doing a full-length bracelet like me, it looks better with 2 closures. So we're going to actually lay a loose band on both of the centers, like so. From there, we're all going to now do the same thing, and we're going to go out to the right and out to the left. Now we don't need that color for a while, so you can put it to the side. And now we're going to choose what is white on this one, and also the orange. So with the white bands, we're first going to lay them going straight on both of the center rows. Then I'll switch to my second color. With my orange, we're going to lay an X. So I go diagonal to the right, and then back towards the left. We're going to go back to the first color, and we're going to lay that going straight. Grab my orange, and I will lay my X again. And that's the 2 things we're going to be alternating right now. Laying 2 straight, and then my X. Now for 2 looms, I'm going to be going all the way down to the end of my loom. I should be ending with 2 straight ones. Now if you're using just 1 set of 4, you're not going to be able to go all the way to the end because then you would end with an X, which will not work out. So you're going to end up laying 6 sets if you just count the straight ones. Once you're done laying 6 sets, that's how many you're going to go down. You'll have 1 empty pin at the end of your loom. So I'm going to go ahead and keep alternating this, and then I'll show you what mine looks like when I get down to the end. Alrighty, so I reached the end of mine. Just a reminder, you should be ending with 2 straight ones. And if you did only use 1 loom, you're going to have 1 empty row down there. So go ahead and push those down. We're going to come back to the beginning. We're going to be going back to the first color, which is our border. And then you're also going to want to choose a second color, which is this turquoise. So we're going to start by laying the border going straight. And then with that second color, which is my turquoise, we're going to lay a diagonal band connecting from there and backwards like that. Go back to your border color, but this time we're going to lay 2 of them going straight. And then we will lay that diagonal band from where that ends and going backwards. We will lay 2 straight ones and that diagonal one. And this is what we're going to keep alternating down the loom. When you do get down to the very end, we do run out of room and we're not able to finish laying 2 straight borders. It's going to end with 1, but I'll show you that when we get down there. For now, keep alternating this. Okay, so I did jump ahead a little bit. As you can see here, I'm at the end. I've laid 1 of my borders going straight, but from there, we're going to lay our second one going inwards to close it off. So now you need to do that same process to the left side, and I will go ahead and get you guys started. So with our border color, you're just going to lay it going straight, and then we lay that diagonal band, and you can see that it lines up with the right side. And from here, this is where you just alternate laying 2, and then your diagonal. You can keep double checking to make sure you're laying it on the correct pins, match it up with the right side, but go ahead and keep getting your left side filled out the same way, and I'll meet you guys back here. Okay, so once you're caught up, we now have both sides being identical. You are going to want to go through and push them all down, including the turquoise, because we're going to have to overlap some bands in a minute. So come back to the beginning. We're going to start laying the red bands that sit on the sides. We're not going to lay the center one just yet. So we're going to come up to the second row where that turquoise is. We have to lay this red going straight, and then we're going to go diagonal. So that diagonal band should be right on top of where that bottom one is. We have to do the same thing with the left half. So you lay it straight first, and then diagonal to the left. We're going to come down to where our other turquoise bands are, and that's where our next ones are going to start. So you always want to lay it going straight first, and then lay your diagonal one, and repeat that again for this side. Come up to the next turquoise, and we'll repeat that again, going straight and diagonal. We're going to keep repeating this down the loom. Alright, so this is what it will look like once you get it all filled out. I did go through and push my reds down because now we have to add a cap band, which is going to connect both of those sets together. Now I like to match it, so I'm going to use red again right there, but you can always use a different color cap band if you want. So the way that I like to do it is I take my band and I wrap it 2 times on one of the pins, and then I'm going to grab my hook and stretch that cap band over and connect it to the other side. So we basically want the back of those little V's connected like that with the cap band. You can also just wrap it 2 times on your hook and then stretch that whole cap band across both pins. Whatever is easier for you, but we just have to get a cap band on every one of those centers. So one little tip I did want to give you guys, when you're done laying all your cap bands, you may want to use your hook and try to straighten out just the back side of the cap band, because when we go to flip it during the looping, that is the part that you're going to see on the front of the bracelet. So the cleaner it looks on the part that sits behind the pin, the better. That's just a little tip, but once all of your cap bands are on, we can turn the loom around. We're going to grab one more border color. So for me that's black, and I'm going to twist it on one of the pins down here at the beginning. Pull it over and connect it to the other side. And now we're ready to start the looping. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to be looping are the reds that we just laid. And we do not loop them back to themselves. We're actually going to loop them to the opposite pin. So we're going to be looping from inside the cap band. The diagonal are going to get looped downwards, and then the straight one is going to get looped diagonally, and I'll show you what I mean. So I do have to turn my loom a little bit so I don't block you. We're going to go into the cap band here. We're going to grab the top diagonal band, and we're going to loop this down to the pin below. Go back in and grab the straight one that's in there and loop this one to the right. We're going to do the same thing with this side. When you go into the cap band and grab the diagonal, loop that down. Go back in and grab the straight one and loop that diagonal to the left. By doing it to the opposite pins, it makes it tighter in there, which is what we want. So that's all the looping we're going to do for right now. So come up to your next cap band. We're going to go into here, grab the diagonal band, but loop it down to the pin below, and then loop the straight one to the right. Do the same thing for the second half. Loop the first one down, and the second one diagonal to the left. Come up here and do the same thing. We're going to come up here and do the same thing. You do kind of have to be careful because you do have to kind of maneuver your hand a little differently. trying to do it in a way that I don't block you guys. Alright, so once you're at the top and all done, it should look like this. Just hit the pause button if you need to. So we're going to come back down to the beginning. You may want to push those down some. We're going to start alternating a few different looping steps now. So we're going to come back down to the very beginning cap band. And we do have to go into that cap band. We're going to temporarily move these diagonal blacks. So grab that top diagonal one and you're going to loop it backwards to this pin here. This is just temporary, and we're going to do the same thing to this one. So just loop it to this pin over here. We just needed to move them out of the way for a minute. So now we're going to loop these two whites that are straight. So grab this one, loop it forward, but don't let it go. You're also going to diagonally pull it over to the outer pin. We're going to come over here and do the same thing to this one. Loop it forward, but don't let it go. Bring it diagonally to the left. So it should look like that. Push those down. We're going to come back here and we're just going to pick this band up off the pin, bring it up and sit it on that corner pin right on top of the white band that we just looped there. And we're going to do the same thing to this one. You don't have to do any twisting, just pick it up and sit it on the pin above it. So from there, we're going to come back into the center. It's the second row up, and we're going to loop the orange X band. When you push this red out of the way, it's the very bottom band. You're just looping that X band forward. You're not looping it back to itself, and you're doing that same thing with this one. Just looping it straight. We're now going to come over to the outer rows, and we're going to loop that diagonal turquoise. It is the fourth band down. So if you go right here and you move that red, you're grabbing that turquoise and looping it inwards, and that is going back to itself. And now we're going to grab the back side of that red cap band, and we need to flip it over both of these pins. I flip it over one, and then I don't let it go. I flip the rest over the other, and then I let it go. So it should look like that. So we're going to start the pattern again, and that starts with the bands that are straight and they're white right here. So when you go in here, you're grabbing the very bottom band, act like you're looping it forward, but don't let it go. Also connect it diagonally to the outer row. We have to do that to both of these, like so. We're going to go into these pins and loop the X band forward. And now we're going to come to the outer row and we're going to loop the diagonal turquoise inwards. It doesn't matter which side you start on, by the way. The last step is grabbing the cap band and flipping it over both pegs. I have to sit this down because it's heavy to hold two looms up. So we're going to start that again, and we're going to go into this pin right here, grabbing the bottom straight band, loop it forward, and also diagonal to the outer row. Do that to both sides. Then we're going to loop the X band straight. And we'll bring our turquoise diagonal bands in towards the center. Flip that cap band over both pegs. We just completed that section and we're going to start that again. So I'll go in here and grab my bottom white band and loop it forward and diagonally at the same time. We're going to grab the bottom X band and loop it forward. And now we'll loop the turquoise bands inwards. And flip our cap band. So we're grabbing the very bottom band, looping it straight and also connecting it to the outer row. Looping the bottom X band forward. We're going to loop our turquoise diagonally inwards. And flipping our cap band over. So I'm going to do that one more time. We're going to loop our white bands forward and also connect it to the outer rows. Loop your X band forward. And our turquoise, we're going to loop that diagonally inwards. Flip the back of that cap band over both pins. So you guys will keep repeating the pattern up the loom. You can watch the previous instructions if you need to. So once we have this part done, I'll show you what mine looks like at the top, and then I'll show you the last thing that we have to do. So you guys are going to have a lot to still loop, so just hit the pause button until you get to this point. But when you do get to the very top of the loom, I just want to show you guys that you loop those last straight bands the same way that you looped them before, by looping it straight, but also connecting it to the pin diagonally next to it. So once you're done that, you can go through and push it down a little bit. And now we're going to come back down to the beginning. And the last thing we have to do is loop the border. So I'm going to go ahead and do the left side on screen with you. So we're going to start right here on this first corner pin. You're going to push back the top layers, grab the very bottom band, and loop it forward. Now this next part might be tricky for some. So we need to go inside the second and third band, which are my two reds, to grab the fourth. So you want to stay in front of this top one. I kind of use my hook to push it inwards so that I can push my hook inside the red and push it out. And then I'm going to grab the fourth band down, which is that black, and loop it up and over and release. So that is what it looks like once you release it. Once you do that, you're going to go into that same pin, and you're going to loop the bottom band up, go into that pin and loop the bottom band up again. Every time you get to the pin that has those double red bands, we have to do that inverted stitch. It's kind of like an inverted stitch. So you need to go inside the second and third band, grab the fourth, and loop that fourth band up and over like that. I know it's a little different. We'll go into that pin and loop the bottom band up, loop the bottom band up again, and now we'll do that inverted stitch. So I just use my hook to push the black in, push the two reds out, grab the fourth band, and you have to pull that fourth band up through that little gap and over the band and over the pin like that. So we got to keep alternating that. So we will loop the border up, loop it up again, and now we'll do the inverted stitch again. We're going to alternate looping the border up twice and then doing that inverted stitch. I wish there was an easier way to do this, but hopefully you guys can understand it. So I'm going to go ahead and get the couple more done that I need to do, and then I'll meet you guys here at the top. When you guys do reach that very top, you're just bringing that last border band into the center, like that. And now you guys have to come down and do the same process on the right side. So remember, to start off, you're only looping the border up once, and then you have to do that inverted stitch. Right here, you're doing it the same exact way that we did on the other side. And now you will go back to alternating looping the border up twice, and now do that inverted stitch again. So keep doing that the same way we did over here, and I'll meet you guys back here at the top. So when you guys are caught up and you're all at the top, the closure is going to depend on which version you're doing. If you're doing the extension version, just a small piece, then you're going to have one band on there. You have to go in each side and bring both ends together, and that's what you will have to add your extension onto. If you did the full length like me, you're going to have two loose bands, and we're going to reach down in each of these pins and clip them off. Like so. Now the one thing I would highly recommend you do is be very careful. I like to hold both of these easy clips until I get a couple of the first few rows released. because I do feel like when using two closers, it's more risky to lose something. Okay, so when you guys do get it off the loom, it might look a little crazy at first. I always tell you guys this, but for this bracelet, especially if you want to wear it on the front, you're going to want to stretch it left and right, holding the border and giving it a good stretch because it does want to kind of fold in on itself on the front side. So you may need to really stretch it outwards if you want to wear it on that side. If you want to wear it on the back side, I just stretch it up and down. But let me show you how to get it closed off. So we have two easy clips here, and we're going to clip them both to our cap band down here. So just pull your cap band out and connect both of them to your cap band. Like so. And there you have my completed Arctic Flare bracelet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this and hope it wasn't too difficult. I really love this bracelet. And the more I make it, the more I am actually really loving the back. I didn't get to show you guys the back of mine. I think it's really cool. But make sure you guys do tag me over on Instagram if you have the ability to. I'd love to see your renditions. And let me know down below what you thought of it. But that is going to be it for today, you guys. I thank you for watching. And I'll see you all really soon at my next tutorial. Thanks, guys. Bye.